Okay, this is going to be a video on what it takes to generally restore and bring a Tram D201A up to par. Um, the first thing is, generally get one in good cosmetic condition. This one is pretty nice. Generally a radial that's in really good exterior cosmetic condition, it's probably been pretty much taken care of. Not all the time, but you can just see somebody cared for this radio. Look at even those wood panels. Those are nice shape. They didn't throw this thing around, and I mean, just that is in nice condition. So they took care of it. So then you get to the inside of one of these radios. And as far as the exterior, I mean, this didn't look like this when it was, this was all cleaned, the front panel. And I use Windex to clean the front panel. It's really pretty gentle. I pulled all these knobs, used the Windex. I'm going to show you my helper here. Let's see if we can get my helper in here. There she is. There's Gavin. Gavin likes to see what's going on. She's getting her education on these radios. So, yeah, so basically take these knobs off, clean the front panel, and clean the knobs. It's just general exterior. The wood, I used a little bit of, can't think of what it was. It's not pledge, but anyway, a wood preserver. You wipe those down and it makes those look really nice. Inside, this is where you get started. So you're going to start with these resistors. These have all got to be changed out. These high wattage resistors, they're on everything, and they're everywhere. You can see them all there. These have all been changed out to a higher value, and you can see they're also off the board. Once I installed them, they're slightly lifted off the board, actually quite a bit. And that gives you the airflow around those. That's really important. So those are changed out. They're changed out on that board. All the capacitors, all the electrolytic capacitors, these are all going to get changed out. All of them. Those get changed out there as well. That's just a given. All these tubes need to be pulled, and you want to do the contacts with, here's what I use. I use different deoxit. So for contacts, I use this, deoxit D5. That's for contacts, but for the audio faders, the volume control knobs, F5. And this stuff's really pricey. I use this for all the audio potentiometers down there. What I use for right in here to make this VFO very nice, I use what's called Triflow. Triflow Superior Lubricant. This is excellent to use on points like this, the VFO, where you're tuning. That works really well. All the light bulbs changed out. Tubes all tested. Replaced as necessary. If you have to replace this one, then you got to neutralize the radio. I didn't have to replace that one. That tube was good. This board, what I actually do is I actually bend it a little bit. I bend it because there is so much heat coming off this that you bend this board, and that will give you a lot more airflow there. Won't get this thing so heated up. Kind of push it to the left a little bit so you can get a little airflow in here too as well. These power supply caps changed out. And you can see, I write the date on it so you can see this was done a few years ago. When I change them out, I write the date on there. All these contacts. So I pull these boards and spray all these contacts here. All the contacts where that plugs in. All the contacts where that plugs in. Pull the relay, spray those contacts. That gumdrop gets replaced to a higher voltage right there. What else do we have here? Everything gets cleaned up. You can see this is really clean. Cleaned up. This is the really nice one. You can see it's got the gray channel selector, not the one that had to be soldered in. This was actually right later in manufacturing, just before they went out of business, where it actually fit right in. So this one has the gray channel selector. Let's see what else we got here. So let's go ahead and tip this thing up. Oh, we're going to tip this up. Okay, we're going to come around here. And you can see all the high wattage resistors changed out. Again, the caps. All those high wattage resistors changed out. This one was actually good. That's actually an original, but it was in such good condition I didn't change it out. Tested fine. Changed out. And all these controls are sprayed with the deoxit. Not the D5, but the F5. You can spray those in all those. This particular radio has had the VFO modified. So what was done, you can see here, there's a diode that is cut. It goes from there to there. That's been cut. And there's a diode. Let's see if I can get into the radio here just fine. Diode right there. That's also cut. That's part of the modification that you do on this radio. Let's put this back down. Then you need to do some jumpers. There's a jumper from jumper 1 to jumper 5, jumper 3 to jumper 7, and jumper 10 to ground. That goes through that hole. It goes to a ground point. And you can find more stuff, more in detail on that on the internet. So that gives you your VFO transmit as well. And trying to think of anything else that's been done to this radio. I think that's pretty much it. Just test all the tubes, make sure they're good. All the resistors, all the electrolytics, everything cleaned up, all the contact points on here as well, on the synth board. And then you got to do your alignment, and that's a whole nother video on getting everything aligned. But that will give you kind of the basic scope of what you're looking at with one of these, to change one of these out. And there's some work. I mean, changing these out, get the good caps. Don't do those 4 in series garbage that people do. Keep this thing as original as you can. And these are made by what is that? CE Manufacturing. They're not cheap. These are probably $50 a piece. You're $100 right there probably. But it looks good. It's the way to do it. It's the proper way to do it. And that's the way to go with this stuff. You got a great radio here. Keep this thing as original as you can. Like I said, the only modification was done was the VFO. But really, with this gray channel selector, this is going to be a tank. This thing's going to last for a long time now. And so there you have it. A Tram D201A, nice condition. This radio will have a lot of years left in it.